do Zoom at home on the living room table.
Yes.
Shabbat Shalom to all of my fellow Kolamites, to all of our guests of every gender, and to all the ships at sea. I'm coming to you from the supernal ring of light that is Congregation Kolami right now as we celebrate our Shabbat service. And I think we're going to start by asking our cantorial soloist, Dr. Nikki Cohen, to lead us in a bit of a nigun. Well, it's always we like to start with touching base with our community, and given how removed we are from each other these days, I think it's especially important. I first of all want to call attention to our very special Minion team who helps this service become a public service. So thanks to Lauren Cordova, to Helena Shap Dawsey and Don Dawsey, to Samson and Casey Flackbaum, to Harold Harris, and to Bob and Becky Leonard, who make up our Minion. We're also delighted, of course, to have Dr. Nikki Cohen leading our music. So what's going on as a good and blessing right now? Let's start with some birthdays. Vika Sorora and Inga Brooks and Holly Kaplan, Morgan Ducar, Greg Etemier, Ed Glick, Jennifer Goldberg, Sarah Muniz, Benjamin Roseberry, and Helena Shap Dawsey are all celebrating birthdays this week. So we want to recognize that. As far as good and blessings of a more general type, I always invite you to use your chat button if you're on Zoom and let us know something that's going on for you. What we have going on right now is Art and Meredith want us to know that they are enjoying their Victory Garden, which has been more productive than in years past. And I'm with you guys. My wife has even tricked me into doing some gardening. So you know that we're close to the Messianic era when that happens. So that's been great. For me personally, two things. First of all, I finally did a COVID test and I am negative, which is positive. And I know that's confusing, but it's good. Let's just put it that way. And the second thing is that oddly enough, a stimulus debit card showed up for us today. And Robin and I looked at it with natural suspicion. Who would send us a debit card? Certainly not the government. It doesn't have the president's name on it. So we figured it was a scam, but it turns out it actually is a stimulus card. So that's even better. That's going to help pay for a lot of things. So that's wonderful. We'll go spend that on the community. Is there anybody else among our Minion who has a good and blessing to share with us? Becky.
So school is officially out. So all of those parents who are teaching their children are officially done. And I'm sure all of their children were a joy to teach, as their teachers always said they were.
Of course. And yes, I know we have to remind you of these things. We lose track of time without the usual things that mark our life. So probably important just to keep you oriented to where we are. It is, in fact, Parashat Naso. So that will keep you keeping track of what's going on around the world. So anybody else have a good and blessing? Yes, Lauren.
My good friend and neighbor had a healthy baby boy 2 weeks ago.
Mazel tov. That's wonderful. What a delightful thing. What an awkward thing under these circumstances. But you know what? In the end, it will all work out beautifully. So a mazel tov to them. Anybody else? Yes, Dr. Nikki.
Well, 2 years ago, we had herons build a nest in our backyard, and they were just gorgeous and beautiful. and look like little bowling pins. Now we have a crane nest this time around, and they are very strange looking birds, especially when they're babies. And they have a very unusual scent. So,
Okay. Okay.
So you really know when you're getting close to them.
All right.
But they're really fascinating.
Wonderful. Wonderful. Yes, we've all become bird watchers
Yes.
at this season. And now, for reasons I don't completely understand, now that our owls are gone, we have a hawk that is hanging out on our fence. So, it's what's that?
It's a power vacuum.
It was a power vacuum. With the owls gone now, the hawk has moved in, and just vermin beware. Anybody else? All right, we're going to begin our service I'm going to invite up Helena Shapdossi to come up and kindle the lights of Shabbat. Helena, would you do that, page 1? Oh, wait, did I ask you? Yes, I did. I'm sorry. I am not keeping track of myself. Lauren, come on up. Helena. Yeah, I'm not. I'm sorry. I'm sorry. No sooner have I said it than I've forgotten.
Baruch atah Adonai, Eloheinu melech
Haolam asher kidshanu b'mitzvotav v'tzivanu lehadlik ner shel Shabbat.
Praised are you, Adonai, whose presence fills the world, who hallows us with mitzvot and inspires us to kindle Shabbat lights. May God bless us
With Shabbat joy. May God bless us with Shabbat holiness. May God bless us with Shabbat peace. Yasher koach. Thank you, my dear. We're going to continue with Kabbalat Shabbat. We're going to begin it on page 3. If you have our Siddur, Psalm 96, Yismechu Hashemayim. 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 V'tagel haaretz. We're going to continue now with Psalm 97, or Zurach Litzadik Belishrei Lev Simcha. Adonai reigns. Let the land exult and the many islands rejoice. Dense clouds surround God. Righteousness and justice are the foundation of God's throne. and God lightning illumines the world. Light is sown for the righteous, and radiance for the upright of heart. O you who are righteous, rejoice in Adonai, and acclaim God's holy name. So for a little variety, we're going to go to page 27, and we're going to close out Kabbalat Shabbat with Shalom Aleichem. We welcome the angels of Shabbat into our midst.
Shalom Aleichem, Malachei Hashem, Malachei Elyon, Imel, Malachei Hamlachim HaKadosh Baruch. Bolechem HaShalom, Malachei HaShalom, Malachei Elyon. Imel, Malachei Hamlachim HaKadosh Baruch. Baruch Min HaShalom, Malachei HaShalom, Malachei Elyon. Imel, Malachei Hamlachim HaKadosh Baruch. Sechem LaShalom, Malachei HaShalom, Malachei Elyon. Imel, Malachei Hamlachim HaKadosh Baruch.
Peace be to you, ministering angels, messengers of the Most High, the Majesty of Majesties, the Holy One of Blessing. Come in peace, bless us with peace, and go in peace. We're going to continue now with Hatzi Kaddish. I'll take you back to page 9 for the Hatzi Kaddish as we transition into the evening service. Amen. B'chayechonu yomechon u'chayei kol Beit Yisrael. Bagala, uvizman kari.
V'emaru amen. Yehesh me'raba mevara, le'alam olal me'domaya, yitpara v'yishtabach, v'yitpa'ar v'yitroman v'yitnaseh, v'yitadar v'yitaleh v'yitala, shemir kudashah b'rihu. Leila min kol birchata v'shirata, tushbechata nehemata, damin ran v'yama v'yemaru. Amen.
Those who are able will now rise and remain standing as we do the Baruch Hu, the call to public worship, and the prayers that follow. Baruch Hu et Adonai Hamborah.
Baruch Adonai Hamborah le'olam va'ed.
Our prayer for a world of consistency. Praised are you, Adonai, our God, whose presence fills the world and whose word makes evening fall. God opens the gates of heaven, in wisdom makes time pass and the seasons change. The stars in the sky move according to God's will. Adonai of hosts is the creator of day and night, causing day and night to alternate. May God govern us always to the end of time. Praised are you, Adonai, who makes the evening fall. And now we offer a prayer of thanks for the graciousness of love. Unending is your love for your people, the house of Israel. Torah and mitzvot, laws and precepts, you have taught us. Therefore, Adonai, our God, when we lie down and when we rise up, we will meditate on your laws and rejoice in your Torah and your mitzvot forever. Day and night we will reflect on them, for they are our life in the length of our days. And then your love shall never depart from our hearts. Praised is Adonai, who loves the people Israel. We continue now with the Shema.
Shema
Yisrael, Adonai Eloheinu, Adonai Echad, Baruch Shem Kevod Malchuto Le'alam Va'ed. Please be seated. And again, for a touch of variety, I thought we would do the V'ahavta in English today. You shall love Adonai your God with all your mind, with all your soul, with all your being. These words which I command you this day shall be upon your heart. Teach them diligently to your children. Speak of them in your home and on your way, when you lie down and when you rise up. Bind them as a sign upon your hand. Let them be a symbol before your eyes. Write them on the doorposts of your house and on your gates. Be mindful of all my mitzvot and do them. So shall you dedicate yourselves to your God. I, Adonai, am your God, who led you out of Egypt to be your God. I, Adonai, am your God. Emet ve'emunah kol zot ve'kayam aleinu ki hu Adonai Eloheinu ve'ein zulato ve'nachnu Israel amo. True and enduring, beloved and precious, awesome, good, and beautiful is this eternal teaching. This truth we hold to be forever certain. Adonai is our ruler, the rock of Jacob, shield of our salvation. Adonai, our God, you redeemed us from Egypt. You set us free from the house of bondage. For this, the people who felt your love sang songs of praise to you. Living God, high and exalted, mighty and awesome, who humbles the proud and raises up the lowly, who frees the captive and redeems the oppressed, who is the answer to all who cry out. All praise to God Most High, the source of blessing. Like Moses and Israel, we sing the Michamocha, a song of rejoicing. Bim bum. Die 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 yada die bum bim bum. Ya die ya die die yada die die bim bum. Ya die 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 yada die die bim bum. Mi chamocha barim Adonai. Mi chamocha nedar bakodesh. No Ratihilot, oh Sefer. No Ratihilot, oh Sefer. Yadai, dai, 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 yadai, dai, yadai, dai, 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 yadai, dai, yadai, dai, 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 yadai, dai. Hashkivenu. Grant that we lie down in peace, Adonai our God, and raise us up, O Sovereign, to a life renewed. Spread over us the shelter of your peace. Guide us with your good counsel, and for your name's sake, be our help. Shield us from hatred and plague. Keep us from war, famine, and anguish. Subdue our inclination to evil. O God, our guardian and helper, our gracious and merciful sovereign, give us refuge in the shadow of your wings. O guard our coming and our going, that always we have life and peace. We praise you, O God, whose sukkah of peace is spread over us, over all your people Israel, and over Jerusalem. We come now to Tefillah, where we acknowledge God as the God of our families, the God above us, the God within us, the God around us. And so we begin by asking you to please rise on page 17 with Adonai Sifatai Tiftach. Yeah, come on up and I will step out of the way.
Adonai Sefatai Tiftach Ufi Agita Hilatecha. Adonai, open up my lips that my mouth may declare your praise. Baruch atah Adonai, Eloheinu, Elohei Avotenu v'Imotenu, Elohei Abraham, Elohei Yitzhak, Elohei Yaakov, Elohei Sarah, Elohei Rivka, Elohei Rachel, Elohei Leah, Ha'el Hagadol Hagibor V'Hanora, El Elyon Gomel Chasadim Tovim, V'Konei HaKol, V'Zocher Chasdei Avot V'Imahot, U'Mevi Gula Livnei V'neihem, L'man Shemo Ve'ahava, Melech Otzer Mashiach Magen. Baruch atah Adonai, Magen Abraham V'Ezrat Sarah. Atah Gibor Le'olam Adonai, Mechayei HaKol Le'Hoshia. Mekapel Hayim Behesed, Mechayei HaKol Berachamim Rabim. So make no flee, Berofei Holim, Umatir Asurim, Umakayei Emunato, Lishenei Afar, Michamocha Ba'al Gevurot, Umidomela, Melech Mimid, Umachaye, Umatzmiach Yeshua, Anata L'chayot HaKol, Baruch atah Adonai, Mechayei HaKol. Atah Kadosh V'Shemcha Kadosh, Kadoshim B'chol Yom Yechalucha Selah. Baruch atah Adonai, Ha'el HaKadosh.
I'm only going to be on the screen for a moment here. I'm going to invite you to turn to page 21 for contemplative mornings, leisurely afternoons, for gardening, for bird watching, for all the things that are Shabbat. We continue with the song Vishamru.
Vishamru b'nei Yisrael, et Hashem, Ya'asor et Hashem, V'yomer V'yomar. Vishamru b'nei Yisrael, et Hashem, Ya'asor et Hashem, V'yomer B'nei Yisrael, B'nei Yisrael, Kol Hiyayom. B'nei Yisrael, Et Hashem, La'asot et Hashem, Sheshet Yamim, Asa Adonai, Asa Adonai, Et Hashamayim v'et haaretz v'shamru, Bnei Yisrael, Et Hashamayim, La'aso et Hashamayim, V'doret ha'meridot. Ubayom Vashti, Shabbat Vayinachad, Shabbat Vayinachad, Shabbat Vayinachad. Bnei Yisrael, Et Hashamayim, La'aso et Hashamayim, V'doret ha'meridot.
The children of Israel shall keep the Shabbat, observing the Shabbat in every generation as an eternal covenant. It is a sign forever between me and the children of Israel. For in 6 days Adonai God made heaven and earth, and on the 7th day God rested and was refreshed. I'm now going to ask Dr. Nikki to lead us in Reitzei, asking that all we do and all we intend will be acceptable to our God.
Reitzei, Reitzei, Reitzei Adonai Eloheinu, Be'amecha Yisrael, U'tefilatam, Be'ahava tekabel. U'tehi liratzon tamid, U'tehi liratzon tamid, Avodat Yisrael amecha, Shefoch ruchacha aleinu, V'techezin eineinu, V'shavecha leTzion berachamim. Baruch atah Adonai, she'otecha levadecha, v'yira she'otecha levadecha, v'yir'a nabod.
Our thanks for blessing morning, noon, and night. Modim. We give thanks to you, Adonai, our God, and the God of our ancestors. You are the rock of our lives, the shield of our salvation in every generation. We thank you and we recite your praises. Let all the living affirm you and praise your name as the God of our salvation and help. Praised are you, Adonai. Goodness is your name. All praises to you. We're going to close out now with Shalom Rav. We're going to ask God for overflowing peace in our lives, and then we're going to take a few moments alone to make our own offerings of thoughts, prayers, and reflections.
Shalom Rav Yisrael Amcha, Tasim le'olam. Shalom Rav Yisrael Amcha, Tasim le'olam. Ki atahu melech Adon, lecha hashalom. Ki atahu melech adom, kicha hashalom, shalom rava Yisrael amcha, tasim leolam. Shalom rava Yisrael amcha, tasim leolam. V'tov b'einecha levarech et amcha Yisrael. B'chalei v'chosha Yishlomecha. Shalom rava Yisrael amcha, tasim leolam. Shalom rava Yisrael amcha, tasim leolam. Tasim leolam. Tasim leolam. Oh, say shalom ben Ramah. Oh, yaseh shalom aleinu. Ve'yakol Yisrael. Ve'imru amen. Oh, say shalom ben Ramah. Hu yaseh shalom aleinu. Ve'yakol Yisrael. Ve'imru amen. Yaseh shalom, yaseh shalom, shalom aleinu, Yakol Yisrael. 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 Ve'imru amen.
We have a lot of extra time to think about things that we don't normally have time to think about. So it seems particularly important for me to remind you that it's 14 years now since the Disney Channel released its made-for-cable movie, High School Musical. It was a phenomenon in its time, and I remember because Avi, who was then 10 years old, was absolutely captivated by this film. He watched it over and over and over again, and he loved the score. At the time, I made the mistake of buying him the CD. So for months, whenever he was in my car, he'd play High School Musical over and over and over again. One of the songs I've tried to forget was a big ensemble piece with a very improbable premise. The title is We're All in This Together. That song really brought out the cynic in me, because the one thing I remember about my high school experience was that we were definitely not all in this together. There were jocks, there were stoners, there were geeks, there were the popular kids and the unpopular kids, there were the cliques and the loners. It was a very, very fragmented experience. So it struck a nerve when I recently saw an ad directed at our COVID experience with the byline specifically for the pandemic, "We're all in this together." And again, I knew it was, well, aspirational. Or perhaps it's just not true. Maybe it was saying we should be all together, and we aren't, which I think we all know. Which brings me to our Torah portion, Bamidbar. It begins with a census of the Israelites. And we begin with one of the most quoted of all of Rashi's commentaries, when he talks about the meaning of the census that God commands at the beginning of the book of Numbers. He writes this message: because they, the Israelites, are precious before him, that is God, he counts them all the time. When they went out of Egypt, he counted them. And when they fell off because of the golden calf, he counted them, to know the numbers of those that remained. And when he came to cause his presence to rest upon them, he counted them. That's a lovely, lovely interpretation. Everyone counts because God loves us all. Only problem is, that's not what's going on in the census in the Torah. The census in our Torah portion is only really a partial census. It's counting only the men of military service age. Despite what Rashi wants it to say, what he aspires for it to be, it's just a census where some count more than others. Okay. Part of our struggle with COVID is that I think each of us is only taking a partial count. The experience of some is certainly being taken into account, and we premise our responses and our decisions based on that. Yet the other experiences of other people are pushed to the background, disregarded, not fully appreciated. Truthfully, most of us here at CKA, we've been one of three things. We've kept our job and worked from home. We've been furloughed or laid off and we stay at home. Or we've been designated essential workers and we are needed in public. Great. But when we think of our fellow Kolamites who are essential workers, we're mostly thinking about, our doctors, our nurses, our medical specialists. A difficult situation for these people, yes, but to quote the old Saturday morning cartoon, Super Chicken, I'm spending a lot of time thinking about things I didn't used to think about. The phrase always appeared in Super Chicken was, they knew the job was dangerous when they took it. And they are well compensated for their risk. But it's more complicated than even that. There are people who don't fall into those three categories. People who need to work, but they can't because their employer has closed down. And people who don't want to risk their health for $10 an hour, but have to return because their employer has reopened and unemployment has been taken away from them. And a business owner who wants to reopen, but can't. So we're all in this. We're just not all together. And tonight I'd like to share with you an experience that most of us sort of are aware of, but are not so familiar with, a report that I asked for from a young adult Kolamite who has not progressed as far economically as most of us. And therefore, her status as an essential worker is of a different order. She writes, it didn't start getting bad for us until March 12th. That was the first day people came through by the dozens, filling up carts with soup and canned chili. Friday and Saturday continued the same, and by Saturday night, most of our shelves were empty. But the traffic didn't slow down on Sunday. Instead, people were frustrated and panicky because the shelves were empty. The days were flurries of endless register lines, carts piled sky high, overwhelmed coworkers, and aggressive customers. Do you have any Mandarin orange chicken in the back? No. I've never seen the shelves so empty. Yeah, there's a pandemic going on. Is it always this busy on Sunday? No. Are you having a good day? No. The shelves continued to be empty on Monday, Tuesday, and Wednesday. Crew members were crying in the walk-in freezer, something we used to joke about, but we didn't actually do. My coworkers and I were all experiencing similar symptoms: insomnia, nightmares, tension headaches, indigestion, nausea, crying, meltdowns. The physical and mental toll of the stress was exhausting. It felt like our corporate heads were either floundering or just didn't care about us. In response to an online petition demanding hazard pay and additional paid time off with absolutely no prior downstream communication, the CEO sent out a 2-page letter telling us not to unionize. Most of us didn't want to unionize. It felt to us like a threat. You are replaceable. You don't matter. You're all ingrates. We don't care if you're in danger and doing the dirty work. It's our money, not yours. I did receive a bonus. It came to less than what I made staffing a weekend at Nifty event or at camp, while most stores in the company allegedly shattered sales records. And yet here I was, making $15.80 an hour, now $17.80 with thank you pay, for putting myself in a highly stressful, high-risk environment. I was and am very thankful to have a job at all. That first week of panic and empty shelves, we got over 100 applications for jobs. Our CEO, he makes about $600,000 a year. But he wasn't bagging groceries, stocking shelves, and taking abuse from customers. Instead, he was sending out anti-union letters and staying at home while giving his employees what could only be characterized as a Sophie's choice of expose yourself and your family to a pandemic or don't get paid. It's May now. March was simply awful. Customers screamed at us, threw change at crew members, keyed each other's cars, pushed each other. Customers, however, also bought us 15 pizzas, Whataburger coupons, several lunches, and Torchy's taco gift cards. We definitely saw the worst and the best in March. April was a blur of deep cleaning, policy changes, family problems, application, and skeletal crew. Several crew members took a leave of absence, unpaid, but they did get to keep their insurance, to keep their families safe. And now it's May 20. Most of the people who took time off have come back. They're clearly anxious about being here. Those of us who never left have slipped into a little more apathy about our personal safety. We are no longer washing our hands every 15 to 30 minutes, no longer steadily staying 6 feet away from our fellow crew members, though definitely we are from the customers. Wiping our phones off, chugging orange juice, the level of cleanliness and awareness that we are supposed to maintain while doing our normal jobs and keeping the customers safe is proving hard and infeasible over the long run. The people in charge, however, don't understand that because, well, they're not doing the jobs. They're just making the rules for the jobs. Working at a grocery store is hard if you're doing it correctly. Working at Wiggly Thumbs center of the street market has been an amazing experience overall, and I've always felt valued by the company until COVID-19. Now, I put my faith in my immediate store supervisors rather than in the corporate people who claim, quote, no bureaucracy, while threatening and firing suspected union supporters. My store manager donated most of her time off to various crew members who desperately needed help when she herself had a history of serious medical issues. Another manager bought a regular customer's groceries when her electronic benefit transfer wouldn't cover it. Another manager gave me socially distanced emotional support when I had a meltdown over the fact that my plans to move had been delayed. Another manager's wife made 75 face masks for the entire crew. The pandemic has shined a light on the dark sides of corporate America, especially for medical and grocery workers. I hope for change in the future because my coworkers, managers, and kind customers have given me hope. So, a different perspective, maybe something we hadn't counted on hearing before. So let us be aware. Just as our portion, there is a written Torah where we start, and then there is a commentary, the oral Torah, where perhaps we think we ought to be. For now, we are all in this, but where we need to be is all in this together. The first step is to recognize our experience, our essential experience, is only one of many. The next thing we need to ask ourselves is the Jewish question. How can we make it so that we ensure for everyone in the future the rights, protections, and privileges that we claim for ourselves? Shabbat Shalom, everybody. Now, my president, come on up, Becky. I have to come back into the camera. My president, come on up, Becky.
Thanks, Jeff. I think it's always good to have different people's perspectives, to know that there's always good and bad and different takes on everything as we go through this process. This evening, I thought about what there is a silver lining for in this whole process of doing this with the online people as well as our Minion volunteers. And I figured out what it was. You can have a pen and paper handy as I rattle off all of the announcements for like the next 3 weeks, I think. And we actually have a lot this week. So I'm going to give you like 3 seconds and off we go. Tomorrow, May 23rd at 7:30, the Naughty is having their elections, the Naughty board. They are reinvigorating, and regrouping. So their youth leader, Casey, has asked that any of the middle school and high schoolers join, as well as their parents, because she wants input and the kids need input on just how to reinvent ourselves and make everybody want to be back in this. It's such a great organization, and we just need to take a step back, regroup, and come at it again next year. So I very much appreciate Casey. Many of us received an email from her, and the link is on the website. May 24th, we also have another installment of Cooking with Casey. It's a two-parter because she's making bread, and she's got all the ingredients listed. They're out on the website. The first one starts Sunday morning at 11 a.m., which I think probably gives you time to make your bread and get it ready to rise. And then at 2:30 comes the filling. Did I get that correct? Okay, I got a thumbs up from Casey, so I'm good. So that'll be something to look forward to, which might be a rainy weekend, so you've got some cooking you can do inside. And then Monday, the offices are closed because it's Memorial Day. Not a hard one to figure out. And as we head into the week, the 28th, there is virtual Shavuot that is being put on in coordination with Congregation Beth Torah.
Mm-hmm. Beth Torah and Beth Israel.
Beth Torah and Beth Israel. The rabbis have all put their collective wisdom together and come up with a great program that starts at 8 o'clock. It will run late because it is Shavuot, but for the kids, it's summer. For those of us working from home, are your bosses really going to know if you logged in on time or not? Not sure. Maybe just stay logged in for the night, then they'll never know. The 29th, which is Friday morning at 10 a.m., we are doing Yisker. So we will be doing them in person here, as well as we'll have a live stream of that as well for folks that want to do that. Once again, please, please, please check the website. Bob does an amazing job of keeping it up to date. And if for some reason it's not, there are always people who are very kind with their words to let us know when something doesn't work. But we do try our best. Thursday, the 30th, the following Saturday, so May 30th, Torah and Tefillah resumes in person here at Congregation Colony.
Unsocially distant.
No, socially distant. You're
I'm sorry. I'm sorry.
see what I put up with. Socially distant, we encourage masks. We're really excited to have that start again. I know Rabbi is for sure. And then moving in, I know I'm going way out past 2 weeks, but I'm just so excited about all the stuff we have that's happening. June 7th, we have our blood drive that Gabby Gadan has been gracious enough to get organized. The links for the signups are out on Facebook. They went out in the newsletter. They're on our website. Anybody that has questions about how they're doing it, Gabby has been really great about answering all those. Blood is an emergency need right now again. So if you can give, we would encourage you to do that. And then finally, I know the thing that everyone has just been waiting for, June 10th is our annual meeting, member meeting. It's 7 p.m. We moved it to the middle of the week because we could. You should be receiving, if you have not already, the resolutions which go through the officer nominations, the slate that will be voted on, as well as the proposed budget. We are working out the details of how to do it in person and via Zoom because of the fact that voting has to take place, because we have to have a quorum of member families. So we're trying to work out those details as to ensure that we have the right amount of people. So just be looking for that over the next few weeks. With that, I really hope you have a safe and healthy Memorial Day. I know we might get some rain, but rain is always good as well. And so we're going to move into Mishaberah. Jeff, do you want to take back or you want me to?
I will. No, you go ahead. Go ahead. I don't need to be standing.
Okay,
Like
got it. I'm good.
Yeah.
I am in control,
Yeah.
as Alexander Haig once said, for those of us old enough to remember. So as is our custom here at Congregation Kol Ami, we'd like to wish a Mishaberah to those in need of health or need of healing. I'd like to add to the names on the list before I go through the room. If you have one that you haven't submitted, if you can submit it via chat, Bob will let us know. But for right now, we have Anna Binder, Sid Binder, Dave Cook, Eric Dubrow, Tammy Ferris, Michelle Griffith, Mel Gross, Judy Hurwitz, Deb Kaufman, Clayton Kirkwood, Alex Koenig, Lauren Koenig, Bill Lee, Sandy Lenzner, Judy Morasic, Dawn Neal, Adrian Sandler, Myra Schusler, Ben Weisbard, and Connie Kruger. Does anyone of the minion here have a name they would like to add?
Rabbi Evan Goodman.
Thank you.
Jess Tar and Ziggy Tar.
Thank you. Bob, have any come in? So with that, we'll continue with Mishaberah, which is on page 79 of your prayer book. Okay. Mishaberah Avotenu Mekor HaBracha Limotenu. May the source of strength, who bless the ones before us, help us find the courage to make our lives a blessing, and let us say Amen. Mishaberach imotenu Mekor HaBracha Lavotenu. Bless those in need of healing with Refuah Shlema, the renewal of body, the renewal of spirit, and let us say Amen.
So just to add for a moment a little addition to what was been saying, meet me on camera 3. All right. So as it turns out, I want to teach you a little bit of mystical gematria. So our blood drive is, we are looking ideally for 18 people to sign up. 18. That, as you know, is a very, very powerful number in Judaism. It means life. Chai, 18, Yud Chet. And so by being the 18th person, you become like the mystical 18th element that brings every force together. But it's more than that. It's more than that, because every single donation of whole blood saves up to 3 lives. So now we've gone to triple chai. What's a mitzvah in triple chai? But if we go even a step further to the Mishnah says anyone who has saved a single life, it is as if they have been saved an entire world. So if you give a single unit of blood, that's 3 lives, 3 worlds, 21 billion. No, is it now 9 billion on the planet? 27 billion lives you save. You can just be a terrible person for the rest of your life, and you'll be running on that the entire time. So just understand the mystical importance of you coming and donating blood. Now, I'll leave it at that. That's all you need to know. All right, ladies and gentlemen, we're going to turn to page 82. Page 82. And it's my delight, I'm going to ask Samson to come on up and open the ark. Samson, would you do that? Yes, he would. It's hard to read his emotions under the mask, but I'm sure he's very excited. Just go ahead and open it up. Page 82, everyone. Aleinu l'shabeach ladon hakol, lateit gedula yotzer breshit, shelo asanu k'goyei haratzot, v'lo samanu k'mishpachot ha'adama, shelo sam chelkeinu kahem, v'goraleinu ככל המונם, ואנחנו קוראים ומשתחווים ומודים לפני מלך מלכי המלכים הקדוש ברוך הוא. Turn the page. שהוא נותן שמיים ויוסד הארץ, ומושב יקרו בשמיים ממעל, ושכינתו זו, וגוהי מרומי. הוא אלוהינו אין עוד, אמת מלכנו אפס זולתו, כך כתוב בתורתו, וידעת היום בהשבות אל לבבך, כי אדוני הוא האלוהים, בשמיים ממעל, ועל הארץ מתחת אין עוד. Go ahead and close. Start on the left side. ביום ההוא יהיה אדוני אחד, ושמו echad. Samson, live long and prosper, man. All right. So now we're going to take a moment to think about all the people who've passed away. If you have a name out there of someone you've lost among your friends or loved ones, please put it on chat and we will include it in our prayers. I'm going to begin by referencing Shiva, someone who has died in the past week. No names have been submitted to us this week. Is there anybody else out there who wants to share a name?
Harry Herman.
Ah, thank you. Thank you, Harry. All right. For our Shloshim, we're thinking of Ralph Candelario Jr., the brother of Connie Underwood, and Jerry Cagle, the husband of Lisa Cagle and father of Jeff and Greg and Andy and Carly Wisniewski. And is there anyone else observing Shloshim? Anybody's lost a loved one in the last month? All right. We continue with our yard sites. This week, we're thinking of the anniversaries of death of Jacob Jack Bornstein, Gloria Skolnick, and Louis Tessel. Is there anyone else with a yard site? Please. Thank you. The memory is here with us. For those who remember them directly, we hope that their memory grows sweet with time. For the rest of us, we want to show our sympathy, to rise if able, and recite Kaddish together. Yit Gadal v'yit Kadash Shemei Rabbah v'alma divrach Yerutei v'yamlich malchutei b'chayechon uv'yomechon uv'chayei d'chol Beit Yisrael b'galal uv'izman kariv v'imru amen. Yehei Shmei Rabbah mevorach le'olam almei almaya. Yitbarach v'yishtabach v'yitpa'ar v'yitromam v'yitnaseh v'yithadar v'yithale v'yithalal shmei d'kudsha b'richu le'ela min kol birchata v'shirata tushbechata v'nechemata damiran be'elma v'imru amen. Yehei shlama rabba mim shemaya v'chayim aleinu ve'al kol Yisrael v'imru amen. Osei shalom b'mromav Hu yaseh shalom aleinu ve'al kol Yisrael v'imru amen. May the source of peace make peace for all who grieve and comfort all the mourners among us. So what hasn't been brought up to this point is that one of our young people, Jacob Lapidus, is going to be celebrating his bar mitzvah tomorrow. Now, we told his family not to come because we're maintaining a very minimum number of people in the sanctuary, and it's going to be his family tomorrow morning with me and with Miss Helena. So we're trying to follow the state's and the governor's recommendations. However, we do want to recognize what's happening to him tomorrow, and so it's our delight to have Dr. Cohen sing Lechi Lach, the famous Debbie Friedman song, Go Forth to a Land I Will Show You, Lechi Lach. What's that? There is no page for Lechi Lach. It's not in our prayer book. However, we'll just enjoy the music, and if you know it, that's great. Have a seat, everybody.
Lechi Lach, to a land that I will show you. To a place you do not know. Lechi Lach, on a journey I will bless you, and you shall be a blessing, and you shall be a blessing, and you shall be a blessing. Lechi Lach. Lechi Lach, and I will make your name great. Lecha, and all will praise your name. Lechi Lach, to a place that I will show you. Simcha Chayim, Simcha Chayim, Simcha Chayim, Lechi Lach. You shall be a blessing. You shall be a blessing. You shall be a blessing. Lechi Lach.
So Mazel Tov, Jacob. To all of you out there, the president has affirmed it. We are an essential institution. I think we all knew that already, but it's nice to hear it reinforced. So a blessing to all of you on this Shabbat, and may you all go forth and come in safety, security, and joy. Shabbat Shalom, everybody.
Shabbat shalom.